missed last Sunday because he was, I think, establishing a Justice Dublin. So to close us out, please bring Jeremy back up.
Hello, everybody. For anybody who does not know, I got back 2 days ago from a week-long vacation to Ireland with my family, and it was very interesting. I'm going to make some posts about it. It was fascinating. We were actually there during the last 2 weeks leading up to a major election on local, country, and EU-level politics. So it was quite an interesting experience, full of a lot of very fascinating things that I'm excited to bring up and talk about. But today, I just kind of wanted to mention one thing before we wrap up today. When Michael talks about all that, and so often when we have conversations like this, it reminds me how many people are fighting the same battles in spaces that we often just don't consider these battles being fought in. And I think the most basic version of this is when we assume that other countries' people must believe what their political leaders believe, when there's always opposition. But it gets to points like this where there's just entire spaces that you're like, oh, of course that's happening in every single faith. How could it not be? And I had a real interesting moment like that in when I was in Dublin, in Ireland. At one point, we spent our days just kind of walking around. You don't really need a car in Dublin to get around. So we were just walking around, and we went to Trinity College, a extremely old, prestigious school. There's so much history to it, and I don't think I'll have to share. I don't think I'll have to evidence this much, but Ireland is a very religious country. There is a lot of religion in Ireland, and as we were walking through, Pride Month had just started, so I'd seen some pride flags, I'd seen some political iconography, but as I'm walking through Trinity, I happen to walk past the bulletin boards for like each of the major organizations, and it has student union. And under the space for a student union, the entire wall had been painted in a trans flag. And on parts of the trans flag, where the parts that you could read when writing was over it, I believe, it said, "Ireland has the worst trans healthcare in the EU. Here's what you can do to help." And it had a bunch of QR codes and a bunch of places to get information. And it was shocking to me, because it was not just, wow, there's allies and advocates in other countries. No, they're fighting the exact same battle. They are looking around them and going, oh my gosh, our trans people are not being given the resources and support they need. How do we change that? How do we address that? And it was just an incredible moment of camaraderie. There were no students there. I don't know who was fighting the battle. I don't know who's in the student union. But when I passed that made me feel connected to here, because we truly are all allies, fighting the same fights because we believe they're important. And I'm so excited to be back here, fighting these fights again with all of you. So if you're fired up and ready to go, let me know. Fired up? Fired up. Ready to go? Ready to go. Fired up? Fired up. Ready to go? Ready to go. Fired up? Fired up. Ready to go? Ready to go. Let's go change the world and remind everybody hate has no home here in Southbury or anywhere in the world.